and welcome back to the Metal Gear Speedrunners MGS1 PC All Bosses League. I am Joseph Joestar 316 coming in for sort of a last minute fill in, but I am joined by Solid Strife. What is up,
Oh,
Strife?
not bad, thanks you.
All right, so we have Plywood versus Bruschetta Bros, which before I could even finish talking, they're underway. They're itching and ready to go.
I think we kept him waiting a bit.
Yeah, kept you waiting, huh?
Oh, I wonder whether or not the time that it is at the moment in the UK is going to have an effect on Bruschetta's run.
Yeah, well, I mean, we had House saying that he had a very very long day before even getting to this race, and even PB'd, off stream, so to speak. But I don't know. You never know with these things, but you're right. Tired and being tired, jitters could play an effect. But I feel like
Well,
sometimes when you get into that racing mode, you just kind of block out everything else.
yeah, you just need to get into that space. Like sometimes just a little mistake can throw you off. I mean, we've seen that already in the other races so far today, where it's just taken one mistake, and that's sort of like the high level that we're working at the moment into like where it's just one little thing can be like kill your chances of winning the race.
Yeah, and so for right now, they're both farming alerts. You may have seen this in the other races up to this point. They're just trying to get enough alerts so that the PAL key, instead of being in the clutches of a rat, it'll be placed in the drainage channel at the bottom of the hangar, which has 7 possible locations. While at the same time, you're waiting for the elevator, but you don't want the alerts to last for too long. And oh no, Plywood's going for a swim.
Oh,
I don't think he meant to do that, but maybe he's just like maybe him running around. He's getting sweaty. He's like, you know what? I'm feeling pretty hot about this race today, so I just need to cool off.
yeah, I don't think that's something
Oh,
that's been
Plywood.
covered with Bruschetta, like the Merrill saving race that we had last week.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. It's like you hope you don't see certain things, but I don't know. I've done that myself unintentionally, just jump in the water. But what I was about to say was you don't want the alerts to last for too long, otherwise the elevator does not come down, nor can you use it during an alert, unless if you time it the right way. Akuma when he did it. Okay,
Yeah,
so here we go.
grabbing the chaffs and hopefully getting into the vent without getting shot. Doesn't always work out like that though. Oh, slightly different route by Plywood.
Yeah, it is actually really interesting. Kind of did like a little snaky movement, if you would, just weaving. It still gets you in, but I don't know. It's all about
He
trying to
doesn't.
get in and racing to get inside the hangar.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to have lost any time, but I don't know whether or not he's got the right number of alerts he needs so far after his little swim.
I'm actually not sure. I wasn't really keeping track, but I would imagine if he did try to get an extra alert, uh, yeah, that probably would have taken that opportunity away. But I don't know. I mean, but given his background in running this game, you kind of get that sense of how many alerts you've farmed
Yeah, I
and whether or
mean,
not if you need to make adjustments along the way to ensure that you don't get the rat pal key, which we've had in this league, unfortunately, on a few occasions where instead of it being in the drainage ditch and oh no, Bruschetta
oh
got
no,
caught.
Bruschetta!
Oh,
He
so
to go for that. Yeah.
so maybe you could explain maybe what happened there.
I think that sometimes what happens with the chaff is that even though you can throw it, it doesn't quite get the right spot to distract the guard. So obviously, then he's been spotted by the guard as he's been going up to press the button for the elevator.
Yeah, I mean, and actually, I think if I'm not mistaken, if you reload that room, you could just actually run to the elevator. You probably didn't even need to chaff it, but I guess just for good measure for practice, it's not a bad thing. But it's just case in point. You just never know what to expect in, seeing these races.
Oh yes, been a lot of interesting ways in which things have gone pear-shaped, hasn't there?
Oh, that's an interesting camera angle that we're seeing from a plywood screen.
I mean, you definitely get the sense though that someone like Plywood, he knows what he's doing with this game, considering like the amount of times that I've got asked questions on the Discord, and the answer is always Plywood's got a tutorial of it on the wiki.
And as a matter of fact, he does. So if if you ever want to get into speedrunning, maybe this game, maybe the console version of MGS1, there's a tutorial for that, and definitely check it out. So here we go with Guard Rush. Take out the first 3 with the SOCOM, stay to the right, take out the remaining waves while picking up ammo and rations when needed, but especially the ammo.
Well, like Bruschetta's not even that far behind, considering he's had to have a death. Probably, I mean, I'm only sort of eyeballing here, maybe about 10 seconds or so.
Yeah, I mean, the fortunate thing for Bruschetta, although it did take him a while to get the game over, is that you restart from the vent when you enter the hangar, not from the very beginning of the vent when you first load into, I guess, like the area. But
That's
still, I mean, we've seen some upsets with Ocelot, Sniper Wolf, Hind. I mean, even everything else in between. I mean, we've had game overs in the nuke building. Um, just you never know what to expect, and I've already experienced this with commentating the first race with Makarov about commentator's curse, and of course, I mean that's when the game over for Akuma happened in the nuke building over such a simple, mistimed of a throw. So they're
yeah,
detonating intentionally to blow up through that wall with their ration equipped, and please have that ration equipped. There has been a death trying to get through that wall, and it's so easy to make that mistake, but here we go with us a lot.
we're getting grenade strats from Plywood. Is Bruschetta doing the same thing? We wonder. And that was really smooth by Plywood. Just the 2 grenades and he's done.
Yeah, and I guess with fellow Werner co-commentator in the chat, I would say that was a textbook fight of grenade ocelot. Referring to Pazzo. I mean, Pazzo's a good guy. Yeah, I really liked commentating with him. All right, so we do get the grenade strat out of Bruschetta, so that was also a textbook fight. God, here we go with the textbook memes again.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'll stop before I get ahead of myself. But so for now, it's going back to the tank hangar and using the vent glitch to skip the lasers. In any percent, you would see this vent glitch used to skip half the game, but I'm having a little bit of trouble. But yeah, that's the thing. You got to get it just right when you're crawling in. You don't want to be too far out, and you have to time when you're looking in first person while letting go and then standing up. There's a somewhat of a picky sequence, but
Yeah,
let's
I
see how
remember
he fares
someone
with the tank.
remember someone asking about that in the Discord, and he said it shouldn't be more difficult than the one up at the cells, despite the fact that the camera angle's different. Kind of ironic, really.
I believe there's actually some truth to that because, like you say, the overhead camera angle versus the, I guess, slightly angled one, I don't know, it can trip some people up, even like when I run it.
Yeah. Now,
Okay, so
doing
I'm sorry, go ahead.
doing the tanks, it normally takes, again, just like Ocelot, 2 grenades, but you've got to get these just right, as we've seen with Nick in the last race, where it caused him a bit of trouble.
Oh, Bruschetta got hit by the cannon.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's just there's different ways to approach this. You could either, crouch for safety. Some people just go for it. But if you do get hit before you get close to the tank, you just get that cutscene of Raven poking his head out of the hatch and just pointing and laughing. And oh wait, did he just take the game over?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell if that was deliberate, unless if he knew that it was just gonna take too long to try to sort the tank out after it's already. Because see, that's the thing is if you don't get a good approach at the start and you don't slow the tank down by blowing up the treads, which ideally you wouldn't, then the fight just becomes a nightmare trying to catch up to him because he could just outpace you every which way, go off screen, and just becomes a headache to fight it. So sometimes I think maybe it's just, take the death, reset it, get a better setup. Wow, that guy went for
Yeah,
a ride.
yeah, he's seems to be doing that much smoother this time than he was the first attempt.
Oh, there he
But
goes.
yeah,
See,
Plywood's
Plywood doing the pause buffer. Very
uh,
interesting. I mean,
probably more he's safe in the race. Really, isn't he?
Oh my god, that was really close to that like second to last turn. I'm trying to get in that room. Oh
Well,
man.
good race so far, aren't they?
I don't know, man. It's like I just get heart attacks with the Nikita. I just want it to go in, and that's sometimes that's all that matters. But so
I find it kind of relaxing considering I'm not the one actually doing the speed run and it's somebody else.
wait a minute. Now we're dealing with ghosts again. God, I feel like I've been in this position before.
Deja vu. Also, that's also a mission name, isn't it?
Wow, you read my mind. I was just about to say there is a nice plug-in to that if for speedrunning Ground Zeroes. It's the shortest mission out of 7 to run. All right, so Gray Fox. So why don't you take it away, Strife?
Right. So here, Plywood is going to be just going for the PKs just here, just for this first phase. Ninja's going to bounce around the room a little bit, and then he's going to go into a hide and seek phase where we're going to have to just have a look around and see where he's landed after his big jump. But that's a little bit further on just yet. And Bruschetta has now just managed to take out the electric floor, so he's not too far behind still, despite the 2 deaths.
All right, so Plywood getting into phase 2, which is the hide and seek. So he can spawn in several places in the room, and it's random each time. So he got a fairly close spawn. It's probably like the second closest he could get, other than like right next to where he was. Okay, so bottom right, so a little bit further away. And, oh, right next to him. So, okay, so he kind of got like 1 out of 3. That was relatively close.
Yeah, not the best RNG you can get, but it's still fairly decent. JJ MGS1 in the chat just chanting Plywood's name.
Yeah, so the important thing with this fight, other than just getting every possible punch and kicks you need to, is when you get to phase 3, when he's just trying to evade your punches and... Oh, okay, Plywood, I guess, wanted to make it even by having, Gray Fox punch him back. But what I was about to say was you don't want to get the bone and sinew dialogue line, which is only possible when you get him to low enough health, but not enough to actually beat him. It loses you a bunch of time because you have to sit through and wait for him to finish the dialogue before he's able to be punched again.
Yeah, so that's Plywood now completed the ninja, and he'll be heading straight off to meet Meryl and go for the Psycho Mantis fight. We've got Bruschetta, who's probably only got about a third of Ninja's health left. He's still in the hide and seek phase.
He got some pretty good spawns, just kind of watching his screen. Maybe I think maybe it was like a little bit faster than Plywood's phase 2, but, it's still, he still got a hill to climb to try to get back.
Yeah, well, like we were saying in the last race, the run doesn't really start until Wolf 1.
Yeah, I mean, you got Wolf 1, Hind, even, Sniper 2, which is like such a notorious checkpoint for these races. So you're seeing Plywood grab the cardboard box, before triggering this cutscene, which is going to be used for going out of bounds in the caverns to reach the door a little bit faster, and you can, save resources and ammo for not having to, deal with the wolves in there.
What happened to the music?
Yeah. So that's Bruschetta now managed to do the ninja fight. So he and he's switching weapons.
Dude, I was watching them both use the hotkey switching during their cutscenes. It looked like Bruschetta was taking a bite out of his chaff, and Plywood was trying to mimic Snake talking by swiping the key to C4. Oh, man. You gotta love this port.
Oh yes. What was it? 4 guys in a basement that managed to make it work, and that's why we get some wonderful glitches like GME and going out of bounds and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it was told to me when I first saw PC speedrun of this game was, I may have mentioned this earlier, but when Underwater Smoking was speedrunning one of these one day, and I kind of asked him about this, he's like, yeah, it was by 4 guys in the basement, and it was just whatever they came up with. They had no official support from Konami, and the community is just, kind of improved upon it. And of course, you got patches and things to kind of help improve some of the quality of life of, trying to get it back to like MGS1. But
Yeah.
anyways, Psycho Mantis.
Yeah, Plywood seems to be doing a decent job of it so far. Just got the swirly chairs now, knocking him down. But we've got Bruschetta, who has just managed to meet up with Merrill, so he's still not too far behind. And we've got the glitch there that just knocks Merrill down straight away after Mantis's line, which saves a bit of time as well.
Stop! Meryl!
Oh, and
For being all powerful, Mantis just never considered, oh wait, he could just flip Merle over to knock her unconscious again.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not for someone who's psychic. He's not too smart, is he?
No, well, Mantis is now dead from Plywood. Bruschetta now just starting his Psycho Mantis fight. I imagine we're going to see a similar setup with trying to get shots in with the Soul Comb, at least up to 7 hits, followed by a grenade, which is enough to trigger the HP threshold to trigger what would be like the first possession, but it'll skip that, where she'll just fall right back down. So he's not too far behind right now, but still, there's
Yeah,
a lot of hurdles ahead.
It's like 1 minute 13 at the minute, and we just got Plywood using that cardboard box that he picked up for the out of bounds to get around the caves easier and avoid those pesky wolves. So he's again like physical distance is getting further away, even if the time is still staying roughly the same at the minute.
Can't use the mine detector either.
I just thought of something as I was watching Meryl talk to the wall where you're out of bounds, and I think I know why she knows Snake is there. It's because of these psychic abilities, because look, she knows where the mines are. It all makes sense. I was like, wait a minute, how does Meryl know Snake is behind that wall?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just memeing.
If she inherited Psycho Mantis's powers, then how did she still get shot? She'd have known that bullet was coming.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, she would have just known, hey, instead of having to go all the way around this mines, you could just, move one direction. I won't spoil what direction that is, but you'll be amazed.
Yes. One of my favorites, that one.
All right, I'm bracing myself. Wow, incredible. You could just move straight up. And then, of course, Plywood memeing with the equip unequip of the cutscenes. God, I love this port. All right, so Bruschetta also doing the cardboard box out of bounds. Then beginning his mining cutscene with Meryl. Also, just as a point, no wolves were harmed in the making of this production tonight. with all the races. The wolves they're fine. It's just
Plywood's gonna do
stuns.
the best play. Nope.
All right, so now it's a race back to the armory to acquire the PSG-1 sniper rifle. More than just being Sniper Wolf in both of her fights, but it's also part of exploiting the, biggest tool in your tool belt, which is GME. So I guess maybe you could explain what GME is and what forms there are.
Well, GME is normally sort of comes about. It's almost like the in between phase of you using your like equipping the PSG and the chaff grenade or any sort of handheld grenade sort of thing. So I think it works with the regular grenades as well, or even the stun grenades. And what that does is it ends up causing you not to interact with certain things that you probably should be. So that includes things like lasers or doors or whatever. But that's just sort of like in the first phase. And then you can also, if you use the first person view, then that takes you to a different phase where you can actually still use other items, because otherwise they're locked, the weapons and the items at that point. And then if you go and crawl, then it means that you can interact with doorways and things like that still, while still being in GME. And that means that obviously as well, because you're not interacting with other things, that you don't get hurt by being shot.
Yeah, so I mean, it's in a matter of speaking, I feel like it's one of the biggest things that are to your advantage in this run over other versions of the game, where you can still accomplish the same thing, but GME just makes life a lot easier in some sections.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
probably
and
getting a slower elevator, but nice backup with trying to delay the kick with that
oh,
guard.
yeah, also with GME, like, because if you're not interacting with things like loading zones, if the door opens, then that's a way that you can get out of bounds in certain areas, which is something that we'll see Plywood doing pretty soon.
I was just reading from the chat where Paz was saying no one was using his patented Pazzo cute strat. Oh man, I love the guy. Yeah, I mean, there's some things that when I was watching him racing, and of course when he was on co-commentary with me, it was like, yeah, that's just a patented Pazzo strat. I was like, oh, okay then. I sort of know the feeling where I kind of do something that nobody else does.
Kind of like my Strife safety strat, which is absolutely useless in underground base.
Okay, so Plywood using the chaff grenade to distract the guard versus waiting, or alternatively, I believe you could use the PSG-1 to snipe that guard. Forgot what it is exactly, but like there's a way you could set it up where you could still fire the weapon in there even though you're not technically supposed to be able to. I mean, it's
Yeah,
PC. It's a broken mess.
yeah,
If there's a way, we'll find it.
that's just how you explain every glitch. Shrugs. It's PC.
I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, it's, I mean, four guys in a basement can only do so much. I mean, if they had maybe a few more, but then again, we wouldn't be able to do things like what you're seeing now, where it may look like he's in the abyss, but he's actually trying to get to the out of bounds area where you could just touch the door, and voila.
Yeah, because that makes
Oh, he
him.
almost had a good spawn. She was in the middle and went right to the pillar. Ah, that's a
Uh,
shame.
Bruschetta practiced left chaff, so he thinks that he's going to do the same. Looks like it. He's not changed his weapon just yet.
Okay, so
Oh,
he did go for the snipe method, and Plywood ending his fight, so he actually ended it really well, even though he did lose some time having to wait at the start. But nicely done with the follow-up shots, and just like that, wow, he's on the other side. Gotta love the power of GME.
yeah. I find that the more interesting out of bounds ones are the ones with the map rolling round. And they're always difficult though in the harder difficulties where you don't have the map, so you have to learn the step count.
You
Yeah, or just be like me, where you just kind of wing it. which is highly ill-advised. You know,
Yeah.
every time I do any percent, and when people ask me, "Well, how do you know when it's time to touch the door?" I'm like, I just gotta go on instinct. I tried learning step count. I've actually trained using the radar at first just to kind of get an idea, but every time I do like extreme any percent, and it's like, well, how do you know when it's time to turn? It's like, I don't know. I just turn when I feel like it's right. Sometimes I get it, and other times I over or undershoot the door.
Use the force. So that's nearly Wolf 1 down for Bruschetta, although his life is looking quite low. If he
Yeah, I mean,
misses,
he just, yeah, I don't know if he had the rations equipped just before that, but I was, the first thing I was looking, I was like, wait, do you have your rations? Okay, he's good.
yeah. Who was it in the group stages that ended up going and just punching Wolf in the face?
You know, I actually don't recall. I don't know, maybe somebody might know,
So
but it's not something you would typically see on easy just due to the fact that you can deal so much damage on this difficulty.
it's always interesting though in a race format to see people using different strats than like the mainstream ones.
Yeah, if you're wondering what we're referring to, there's a exploit which is referred to as weapons glitch, where you get Snake to kind of get knocked over a certain way. Move the camera while in first person. You move the D-pad all around and just all over the place. And if you time it just right, you could equip the PSG1, which is equipped after you have something like a chaff in hand. And what you're doing is you're tricking the game into saying, "Hey, I'm holding a chaff," but then you're menuing in a sniper rifle, which then you could run across the so-called like auto barrier, which would normally kick you back, and then you could just walk right up to the catwalk and then just punch Sniper Wolf to death. Essentially, it's something you would see on higher difficulty runs because sniper shots just don't deal a whole lot of damage and you don't get a lot of ammo to work with. However, for this difficulty, I don't honestly know if it's faster than trying to sniper directly. I would imagine it's not, especially if you get like, a really good spawn where she's in the open. But sometimes, like me, it's like, you know what? Sometimes I just want to take the fight to her and she doesn't know how to stop it. Just like how
That
Johnny
weapon,
doesn't know that plywood isn't really dead.
I think that weapons glitch also was sort of like what was used before GME was discovered, wasn't it? And is it used on console as well? Because then, like, I remember a couple of years ago me trying to do the weapons glitch myself in the communications tower.
Well, yeah, I mean, weapons glitch is still used on console, but it's GME that's really exclusive to the PC port.
Yeah, I meant sort of before GME was discovered, because I'm pretty sure there were similar strats, weren't there, for console?
Oh, well, that at least not yet. I haven't ran a, PC version of this game. But I would almost just kind of imagine like that's probably what people did. Considering that's where the weapons glitch strat came from.
Yeah.
And then eventually someone said, hey, if you hotkey these two items like this, you could do this. It's always amazing what people find over the years, and people are still finding things here and there, whether if it's, a little minor time save to do a room faster or a tremendously big thing like GME.
Yeah, I mean, I was seeing one the other day. I can't remember who it was that uploaded it now, but using the out of bounds here, where plywood is now in Nuke Building 1, and going out of bounds instead of going through the room in order to get up to the elevator. Although I think that the time save is probably either about the same or even slightly slower.
Yeah, so I was just kind of scanning the chat, and I was right. So, like, weapons glitch is still used on console. I mean, that's how I do it. And I would assess that, if someone ran on console and then went to PC, they would just use the same thing. And then I was also reading Pazzo's comment about and before he does the worm, which is, again, another any percent reference where you could skip Sniper 2 by doing a sort of weird variation of the weapons glitch. But again, we're just seeing plywood going out of bounds into the abyss, touch the door, And just like that, he's in the underground passage, and oh wait, he's not done yet. He's gonna do the same thing he did before, except there's no genomes. Be funny if there were, if they'd just be like, hey, it's like, we recognize you. We sent you back to the jail.
I know, a lot of the genome soldiers in these games are probably worse than stormtroopers, and they're so inept.
Oh yeah, believe me, there's some pretty questionable guards throughout the franchise, but yeah, the genomes they're pretty unique. So with Tower A, this is normally a task of trying to, line up stuns, roll over guards, kick them if you had to, but with the power of GME, you just turn it on and just run up the stairs. I mean, that's really all you got to do.
See, my favorite part about this, though, is when you run past the guards and they try and hit you with the butt of the assault rifle and
Okay, I'm not sure if I just lost Strife there, but I would imagine he's trying to say, like, when they're trying to punch you, it almost looks like they're just kind of like waving their weapons about to, like, hey, get back here. Okay, hopefully Strife's connection will come back on the Discord. I noticed that it's been acting up the past day or two myself, so I know sometimes it just happens. But anyway, so you're gonna see Bruschetta now get into Tower A himself, while Plywood is just about to end his Tower A stair climb. So still advantage to Plywood, but again, still a lot of things going forward. We got Repel, which can add some time loss. You also have Hind D, which is a very important fight, to get a good fast run. And of course, the infamous Sniper Wolf 2, which has always been, kind of like everybody's, infamous checkpoint. She can determine a lot with what kind of pace you can get, just from simply where she spawns, how she moves, if your shots land or if they don't. Lots of variables. So with Repel, since both of them are on easy difficulty, damage taken will not be as big of an issue. Actually, I'm wondering if they can't hear me now. Okay, chat's saying they can hear me, so now I'm really confused, but okay, so anyways, what I was gonna say was Repel, on this difficulty, you don't take as much damage, although you don't want to take too much, just for the sake of getting staggered every time. So you'll most likely see both of these guys just use the girders to just quickly descend, ride the girder down, repel away, and then just ride the next girder.
there we go. I think that's me back.
Hey, I hear you again.
There we go. I thought that you disappeared, not me.
Dude, I was like thinking the other way around. I was like, wait, did I just drop the connection? I was just talking to myself for the past several minutes.
So was I. Where did Joe go? And it's like, they were like, we can't hear you.
Oh man, it's the frickin' Patriots, dude. They came in, hacked the Discord, disconnected you, and it's like they're trying to play tricks on us. So welcome back. Welcome back. First off, but so now we got Bruschetta finishing up his repel, followed by Plywood starting his Tower B climb. Which just before you saw him use GME to skip the Otacon cutscene that you would normally get.
Yeah, that's where you use the weapons glitch on console, isn't it? So then you can get past the stack of boxes.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, like there's a sequence to set up a weapons glitch where on console normally you would just damage yourself either by C4 or most likely a grenade. Equip the Stinger, while it's really a chaff, and then you just destroy it before you cross a certain line on the floor. And because you remove it from your inventory, that cutscene never plays. I believe in this case, the GME just kind of helps get around having to go through all the efforts of trying to execute a console strat weapons glitch. So with Hind D, I just want to get the opening shot, and every following shot, Hind follows somewhat of a predictable pattern, but you just still have to always be ready for anything. Where every time he takes damage, he's going to fly opposite to where you were, and Plywood missing one of the overhead shots, so he's got to be mindful of his ammo, since there is an ammo box there, but it will not respawn until you reach 0.
Has to be careful as well that he doesn't miss too many, because we don't want a situation like Tyler was in, where because on easy the Hind can go underneath the top of the tower so you can't see, and then on easy it sort of can take a while to come back up.
Yeah, there's a caging method that, which in phase 2 is about to happen with Plywood, where you want to keep the Hind in the air the entire time until his health is at 0, and allowing it to descend underneath and then sweep the tower just loses so much time. It takes forever. On higher difficulties, it is still possible, but it won't stay down for as long, but it's still slower. Okay, so he's got him directly right above him, so I mean, it doesn't get any closer than that, but you do have to keep aware of just not shooting too soon. You kind of have to wait for the iframe flashing to stop to follow it up with the next shot. And essentially what's happening is every time the Hind takes damage like this, you're seeing the minigun kind of go off and return. So that's how the looping is happening. And like, it's taking damage, it returns fire, you follow up with a missile, and it just repeats itself until he reaches no health, and then he flies away for the second missile. Okay,
Yeah,
so
and
Bruschetta having a little bit of trouble with one of the early shots, but... Okay, there we go. So he did get the flyover hit.
Yeah, that's Plywood done now. We just have to wait for this cutscene and the rocket to play out. And he emptied what was left of his stingers in order to pick up a full pack of ammo, which is going to be helpful for the Wolf 2 fight coming up in a minute.
Yeah, and depending if you acquire stinger ammo before you started the Hind fight, you can actually pick up another pack of 5 when you get down this ladder right here, which I imagine that is what Plywood will do. So he's going to pick up that additional 5, so now he has 10 stinger missiles to use if he chooses for Sniper 2. She can hide behind trees, loses you time, but the stinger will just kind of flush her out while dealing damage.
I don't think Bruschetta will do that. He already picked up that pack of 5 on the way up, unless it respawns again.
Yeah, I don't believe it will. Like, if he picked it up before he went up the ladder to start the fight, it won't come back, but I wasn't quite sure what he did. He may have picked it up going in thinking he could just have that ammo up front. So it's kind of a give and take with, you know, what fight you want to try to secure it for. Is, you know, do you want to try to secure a better Hind D fight? Or most likely just say, you know, I'll just take the risk with Hind D, but just have the missiles for Sniper 2 because it's a pretty antagonizing fight. You know, she could be pretty random, and sniper shots, in addition to stingers if you have them, are essential. Of course, again, showing the power of GME2, just saying, you know what, I'm not going down no elevator. I'm just gonna teleport down to the ground and touch the door. Okay, so he got... It looked like she was left, but went into middle. Or she was in middle to begin with, but either way, he's gonna get early shots, which is... so he did get hit.
Oh, there.
Oh,
Yes.
now she's... Yeah, see, this is what I was talking about, where, you know, she starts moving around a lot. She could even double back part of the way when she's in the middle, like where those rocks are, and, you know, the stinger can't lock on and, you know, do damage in there. And I'll see, now she's doing it again. So this is what I was saying, like, you're just losing time trying to keep in pace with her movement, or just trying to line up a shot of any kind.
Yeah, trying to follow her with the PSG is not really a viable strat, more because you don't have the diazepam. So if you're keeping an eye on her for more than probably about 5 or 6 seconds, then Snake's hands start getting all jittery, and that's why you see him keep on sort of like switching between the two weapons. Partly because the Stinger's quite good at getting sort of like the right position as well as doing some decent damage, but also because he's like the hands won't get up as jittery because the route that we use doesn't use the diazepam.
Yeah, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the aiming with the sniper on the PC port, I believe it only has D-pad functionality, meaning, you have to use the D-pad in order to adjust it. And when you start, it starts off really slow, and the longer you hold it, the faster it will go across the screen, which is not as ideal. But it is how you can do it. In addition to the fact that, yeah, she's just gonna, move around a lot, and since you do not have the diazepam, it just makes it even tougher to try to maintain steady aim. So you'll see, like, they'll just equip, unequip, which is a good way to reset it, for at least good enough for one shot. So while Bruschetta does his round with Sniper 2, Plywood doing his trademarked spinning in a circle. I actually, when I was learning how to run the game, I actually even did that just out of necessity, saying, hey, he did it in this tutorial, so I figured I might as well do it too.
Yeah, it's basically Plywood's equivalent of teabagging, isn't it?
I don't know. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe it's just, trying to earn some style points. I mean, you know, sometimes you just got to be able to have fun and meme during the run.
Oh yes. Oh, that's Bruschetta there. Oh,
Ooh, that was
no,
actually a nice sniper shot at the end.
yeah, it was. I mean, speaking of Sniper Wolf, though, I did see House Testers sort of built this little resource at the moment where we can actually see the whole snowfield and also sort of like marked the positions where she would hide, which would be quite useful for like new runners doing all bosses, so then they know roughly where to look.
Yeah, so definitely take advantage of resources like that. You can find a lot of that and tutorials and guides on the wiki on MetalGearSpeedrunners.com. And if
Uh,
Plywood is watching this back, trying to get in that promotion work for you. So check it out.
yeah, and while we're doing the plugging, follow Apache Smash on Twitter.
Oh, yes. Please. All right, so
Uh,
Raven.
Yeah, Bruschetta didn't have any issues with those guards on the cargo lift either. Uh, Now Plywood is using Nikita to take down Raven's health after I think a couple of shots with the SOCOM, because otherwise you end up get left with like a slither of Raven's health at the end once you finish with the Nikita missiles.
Man, if only Raven could just aim his gun just a little bit to the left. No, it's just GME at work. He can't really damage you, and then on top of that, every time Raven takes damage, his iframes also don't allow his shots to connect, which is a exploit used on console, where you could just loop a Nikita around a corner and just rinse and repeat, where he can't shoot the missile down. But on PC, we just take the fight to him directly, and it's absolutely incredible to see it happen.
Yeah, at least you don't end up having too many issues with that in all bosses, as opposed to with any percent, because the any percent route uses grenades, and sometimes if you're daft like me and mistime the grenades, and then you can run out of grenades and you've got no other weapons in order to be able to beat him. So you have to try and get him to shoot down some of these items on the top of the boxes in the warehouse, and that can take ages.
Yeah, I mean, it's in essence, it'd just be like a riff run. Especially if it was something like any percent where you don't have a lot of things to work with.
Yeah, I think it can cost anywhere like up for a minute to a minute and a half.
So now I guess the question for on everybody's mind, I mean, especially for the two of us, since we had those alerts farmed at the very beginning, is what kind of Palkey will we expect to see for both Plywood and Bruschetta? And I'm going to go along with the Makarov style prediction and say God Bomb for both, but maybe option 3 for Bruschetta and option 5 for Plywood. I'm just going to shoot from the hip.
I'm thinking 2 for Plywood and 5 for Bruschetta. Although there is a sneaking thing in the back of my mind thinking, what did Plywood actually get enough alerts? Because I think he was one short in the docks, but whether or not he's actually
there's the key for Plywood. So that was actually a fairly good spawn.
I was right. 2. What do I win?
You win my style points because I just randomly guessed and got nothing.
So did I. What happens now if Bruschetta does get number 5?
Then you still get more style points. In fact, there should even be Drebin points issued.
I demand tribute. So they're gonna high five in a minute. Okay, Plywood is coming back to put the room temperature key into the computer.
Instead of a high five, it's like, hey, stop shooting at me. Plywood's like, don't worry, bro, I got you covered. Takes him out for him. All right, so Plywood now heading back to freeze the key, going back to the freezer room. While Bruschetta...
Is it Solid Tony's technique or someone else's? Having the menu open straight away after the cutscene so that you can switch back to the key card.
You know, that's actually a pretty neat strat. You know, I mean, yeah. I tend to, well, of course on console it's a little bit different, but like I tend to use part of the cutscene like as a buffer, rather than trying to pause buffer. But actually menuing it straight out is actually pretty decent idea. Because again, what we've seen in this, these races tonight, especially on something as simple as just trying to leave the room, is that if you get caught by either of those cameras and you're not outside that room, you're dead. You know, you have to game over to get out, and it loses a lot of time. It is very frustrating when it happens, and it's very easy to trip it up too, because you know you have time to engage with the room temperature and cold temperature terminals, even if the camera kind of spots you and you hear the alert buzzer kick in, as long as you press the terminal first. But your movement trying to leave the room is very important. If you bump into a chair or if you just lean up against a desk the wrong way, I mean, that's all that it takes to, you know, trip the camera.
Yeah. I've noticed chat is getting spammed with copy pasta about Metal Gear Ghost Babble. Anyone who didn't, for reasons like it's not canon, you genuinely need a shower.
I don't know about you, but I was reading the thing about Mary Gear's Secret Santa voice section silent. Oh man, I love this community.
Oh yes, me too. We've got Plywood now waiting for the key card to change temperature, and Bruschetta is on his way to the warehouse. So we may get another high five moment in a minute.
Oh man, now Akuma's throwing in Resident Evil Code Veronica X. Like, come on, man. Why do we gotta drag other franchises in? Oh,
well,
man.
Considering Akuma's got the world record, he's probably looking for another challenge, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, that's funny enough because, you know, speaking of, he is the current world record holder. I even believe he's gotten underneath an hour, which is something at one point, I think some people thought wasn't possible. You know, just more and more people just play the game over time and find different ways to, you know, go faster. And to actually hear that it was, you know, like even knocking on the door for an hour was just incredible.
I think as well, he is also facing the winner of the previous match, Tyler, in the semi-final.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, we're once we get this out of the way now, and then we're down to the last 4 in the competition, and they're all sort of like very high level runners who are quite experienced at running the game.
Yeah, I mean, Plywood and Tyler have ran the game for a long time. I know, especially Plywood. You know, he's run the game on different versions, difficulties, categories, PC, PSTV, you name it. He's done it. Um, but then again, I mean, you got Akuma who just, comes in and just says, "Hey, look what I can do," and then just start breaking records. And it's an amazing thing to see. Like, you absolutely love to see the competition.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm definitely jealous.
All right, so now it's a race back to the blast furnace to heat up the Palkey to red for the final terminal. And I guess while both of them are undergoing this process of back traveling and going up and down elevators, I guess I could try to use this opportunity to get another promotion plug in for the community. Aside from, of course, following at Apache Smash on Twitter, um, you know, if you're interested in learning to speedrun Metal Gear Solid, whether if it's the console version, PC, or any of the other games, you can check out the wiki on MetalGearSpeedrunners.com. You can also follow this Twitch channel that you're watching right now, since we have the semifinals and the finals, plus stream team content provided by runners of the community. You can also check out the Metal Gear Speedrunners YouTube. Highlighted VODs and other things get posted on there. You can also follow the Twitter page at MGS Runners. Shout outs to our social media and design team that maintain it, as well as Dash, providing the artwork, and Iroquois Pliskin for doing a lot of the highlight trailer videos you may have seen. So excellent job by both of them. And of course, there's one last thing that I can't remember. It just
Someone
slipped
help
my
us in the
mind.
chat.
Oh yeah, just follow at Apache Smash on Twitter. There you go. I legitimately forgot what my last thing was, and I was just saying, yeah. Well, when in doubt, yeah, just follow Apache.
Going back to what we were saying about the world record, Pazzo's made a good point in the chat by saying the world record in this category has actually improved by 3 minutes thanks to this tournament.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, that's funny enough, the last league that was ran on this channel, the MGS2 VE League, it was sort of a similar situation where the PB, or I'm sorry, but the world record was one time, and then over the course of the league, it was broken several times. And I do feel like these races do bring out the best out of people for what if it's trying to break their own times or just, break an old world record time.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I go into some of these guys' streams sometimes and see someone like House Test, and he was trying to get the vent glitch perfect by doing it 100 times. But it's like these little things that make a big difference in like a race situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, trying to learn certain things of just, the right menuing, the right movement, vent glitching, or if you bring in stuff like GME, weapons glitch, it's hard to maybe take it all at once when trying to learn how to run the game. But when you take it, one piece at a time, and sometimes it does take trying to do something, 100 times. And unrelated to this, but when I was learning to speedrun MGS2 doing the ladder skip glitch in hold 1 of the tanker, it was told to me at one point that it's like, yeah, if you want to master this, you got to do it 500 times. And it's like, I thought they were kidding. And over the years running the game, it's like, wow, yeah, they actually were onto something. And as a matter of fact, they were right, because I still mess up the ladder glitch time and again. But, the repetition with something as simple as that does make a big difference.
Yeah, I mean, especially though when you've got a run that's sort of like as long as this, there's plenty of places where time can be lost and gained. Especially if you compare it to something like any percent, there's a lot less opportunities for that.
Yeah, I mean, with any percent, the way I look at it is with all bosses, you're trying to play the game conventionally, but you're trying to do it quick, and you're using the vent glitch to skip lasers, and of course PC changes everything else, but with 90%, you're not really fighting any bosses in Disc 1, you're mainly just vent glitching, weapons glitching, and, you know, reacquiring the Stinger, so you don't really fight anybody. And then Disc 2 kind of becomes, like, normal again. So, yeah, there's maybe less opportunities to lose time of stuff that you skip, but there's still some common denominators of, proper movement,
Yeah,
good encounters with rooms. I mean, it's stuff that can get overlooked, but it adds up.
yeah, definitely. So we've got Plywood now heading back through the cold warehouse to put in the hotkey card, and Bruschetta is just going down the cargo elevators to do the same thing. So I mean, at the moment now they're roughly on the same track, um, just a bit of a gap between them. Plywood's now picking up the extra Stinger missiles. Is very close now to dealing with Rex.
Yeah, I mean, considering whatever your ammo is going in, picking up the extra pack of 5, yeah, probably lose you a second, but it's, again, you're weighing the risk of running out of ammo with Rex during the actual fight, and then you have to go across the room to pick up a pack.
Yeah, I mean, I've done that several times. We're like missing because of the iframes, so that's another reason why timing is really important. On not just on Rex though, but on any of the bosses really. You don't want to get
Yeah,
caught.
because you can aim slightly off target and it'll still hit the raid dome, but it won't do full damage, and that is using up a missile. Oh yeah, and at the speed of light, we kind of missed the pivotal moment of the run where it's I hate to say this, Strife, but Miller was really liquid, and we just got played like a fiddle activating Rex.
It's not liquid. It can't be liquid. Did you like my
It was. I actually did like his sunglasses. So much so that I would just punch it right off his face. So, with Rex, just gonna use the power of GME once again while being in the right position so that every time Rex goes down to use the lasers and then stands up to machine gun, you could just aim your Stinger reticle right on target, don't even have to move, and you don't have to move your cursor over at all either.
Yeah,
Not just making his way into the hangar.
yeah. The grabbing of those Stinger missiles for Plywood though are probably just a safety strat because he's got quite a few more than he actually needs. Because I think they were saying in the last match that you only need 12, and he had more like 18, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, you could account for any missiles that miss or partial damage. Oh, no, one thing, it was, Plywood tried sparing Gray Fox of the agony, and, Snake just couldn't do it.
No, I can't do it.
Bullshit, I mean, of course he could. I mean, he just wouldn't do it.
I know. I think I was always one of those people mashing the square button, like, please, just do it. So that's Rex defeated now for Plywood, and we're going into the liquid fight, which I'm just going to expect with Plywood having done all like the tutorial on how to do liquid perfectly, that we're not really going to see any issues from him here.
Yeah, there's 3 different ways to set it up, which is a no throw, a 1 throw, or a 2 throw, which is the more, I guess, friendly approach to start the fight. And
Yeah,
Plywood going for the no throw, so it's pretty risky, as we're seeing now. Liquid is kind of facing backwards where he should be, but you still can loop him, which what's going to happen is you're going to kind of pull him back with you because he's being punched backwards, but normally you would punch him forwards where you are punching him, and oh, he broke away. So it's not the end of the world. He's just going to do a punch kick, or you can even just throw him off.
ooh,
I was actually wondering if that was maybe a little too far away, but so he did get him off, but nicely recovered because again he was trying to go for the no throw, which Ideally, you would be punching him over to the right corner where the radome is, but because he was facing slightly backwards, he had to recover it by basically pulling him in the other direction and then just try to do a quick punch kick.
Yeah, I mean, it was me saying, "Oh, I don't think that Plower's going to have any issues." I must have jinxed him, but
Oh,
he's
it's commentator's curse striking again. I mean, I've already done it once myself today, so I just come to expect it at some point.
yeah. But that's the thing, though. I mean, you see this with a lot more of the experienced runners where they have backup strats and they can recover really well because mostly down to their experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's just trying to go through the motions of the fight and not only just being trained on how to do it right, but what to do when it goes wrong. And it really does come down to experience.
Yeah. So, Plywood going through the escape without too many issues, and we just got the liquid section at the end to do. I think this
See,
is
Bruschetta going for the one throw method, and oh, he's just a little too far away. So, yeah, that can happen where if you try to start your infinite punching, which is timing your punches a specific way, if you're too far, it'll break loose off of his iframes, and then he can just get away.
Yeah, I think the only other person that I've seen trying to do the no throw so far has been Nick, but that's only been today. I don't know whether anybody else has tried that in the league.
I believe Akuma did a no throw during the first race, if I recall correctly. But I mean, it kind of comes down to what I feel like is a no throw is like a world record strat. Since now Akuma holds the record, it does save you a lot of time. But there's it's a very precise setup. It doesn't have any margin for mistakes. A one throw is kind of the in the middle option, while two throw is probably the more friendly option. Like I said, it's easier to kind of control them, time the punches right, and Bruschetta having a little bit of issue trying to get Liquid off. Okay, so there you go. Sometimes you just gotta kick him off and just say, "Hey,
No
get down
keys.
there."
Behave.
So
Well,
time for
that's right
Plywood
now.
Got him. Let's go.
is a
Drum roll.
101.47. All right,
That's
so
full time. I mean, I think that's not too far off his PB, is it? Maybe by about a minute or so. I did have the information up at one point.
well, it's more than what I have since again I kind of came in somewhat last minute, but
Yeah.
still not a bad run by Plywood. I know maybe some things here and there didn't quite go the way he expected, but nevertheless he did finish fairly well.
Here they come.
Bruschetta now just getting through
Damn.
his escape
Good job,
section,
Snake.
getting to
Let's
the
go.
second guard checkpoint. Or I'm sorry, the first checkpoint. They all look the same. It's a guard checkpoint. As soon as the start of the barrel, it's like, wait, hold up. I got a little ahead of myself. Okay, now he's at the second guard checkpoint.
There we go. Yeah, the only way you'd be able to tell is with the extra guard that they have. Like if he's already taken that out, you could be it could be a quite easy mistake to make.
Snake. It's not over yet. Liquid.
Not yet, Snake. It's not over yet.
You know, I said this during the first race, but Liquid said when you fall from that height, it would kill you. But he's still standing. I call shenanigans.
Yeah. What is it? He's got plot armor. That's why they couldn't get rid of him in any of the sequels. They're like, how can we bring Liquid back even though he's dead?
Nanomachines. When in doubt, nanomachines.
Yeah. See, I always wonder though, like, it always looks like, and when you go through Shadow Moses in Metal Gear Solid 4, like, no one came in and collected evidence or anything like that. So when you've got, like, when they recover what they think is Solid's body from the tanker, did they just go to Shadow Moses and pick up Liquid's body or what?
I don't even remember at this point since, when speedrunning, you kind of forget these things, but for reasons being, Liquid is now beaten for now. And we're gonna get the time for bruschetta, which is bum, 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 bum.
104.18. That's still a very good time, especially considering what was it, the two deaths?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was sometimes that's how it adds up, is just not only just trying to get all these rooms right, but continues depending on where they happen can be costly. But still, uh, very very respectable time. But GG's to Plywood.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Well,
GG Plywood. Good job, man.
GG bruschetta.
All right,
Thank you,
GG's you
mate.
guys.
yeah, fun.
Thanks.
So,
So
Brachette, was the time of day a bit of an issue for you today?
I don't think so. I've had like bare coffee today, so I am awake. I'm not going to blame it on that. Yeah, honestly, I just didn't play my best, and I'm sorry that it wasn't my best. But I mean, even if it was my best, looking at Plywood's time, that is much better than I can muster. So GG.
What happened? I wasn't watching early on, so I had no idea how things went for you.
Oh, I'm mom spaghettied everywhere. So I threw my shaft in the tank hanger, and it just didn't go off. And I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll just take a death. It's fine." Um, and then I like got shot by the tank, uh, and I should have taken the death a lot earlier than I did. I sort of like played around with the tank for a bit, and then thought, "Huh, wouldn't it be better if I just died now?" So I wasted a
It's
load of
usually
time.
better just to fold your cards at that point when the tank
Absolutely,
goes completely out of control, because trying to rescue the tank is just, it's so hard. I actually
yeah,
opted for a very safe strat on tank because I honestly just don't like any right side strat on PC right now. Like, I was having consistency with the duck earlier. I'm like, I'm just gonna go left side, which is super old school, but I'm not gonna get blown up, so that's all that matters to me.
that's smart. Going for the safety strat is the way, and yeah, that's the way I should have gone, I guess.
and I guess just reflecting what Chad is noticing and what I'm just noticing now is Bruschetta's RTA finish time.
It
Something
was
to
very
definitely
close.
be proud of.
See, if you added just 2 seconds to your run, I would have forfeited too, but unfortunately that did not happen, so
I believe that might be the 104.20 RTA finish for the league. I don't know if anyone else has gotten it, but nice.
oh man.
All
Should have
about
missed
the
that
music in
transition
this
shot
one.
intentionally.
No,
Yeah.
but seriously, GG's to both of you guys. Congrats Plywood. You're gonna advance, and then Bruschetta. I know some things didn't quite go your way, but you hung in there. You did your best, and it was good to watch you guys. And of
Yeah.
course, Strife, thank you for being on co-coms, and I guess thanks for having me again.
No problem. Thank you.
I guess any final words from the runners before we close things out?
Wolf 2 is trash.
I
Trash
second that.
fight. Hate
Yeah,
that fight.
I agree.
God, I was like, is this really happening to me? Like, she's trolling me so hard right now.
I'll have to watch
If
it
it,
back. I didn't have your run up because I knew it would tilt me, seeing how you're doing. So I'll have to
I
watch it
think
back
I
and see what
lost,
happened.
like, no joke, like a minute over my PB on Wolf 2.
Oh,
Like,
Wolf 2.
something ridiculous. I don't even know. Something silly like that. Because I had second position, best. I had 5 position pals. So it was good. That luck was
Yeah,
good. But man, was Wolf 2 just absolutely gnarly. And I'm sure I could have played it better. But it, like, in the moment, like, oh man, I got juked way too much.
oh,
Yeah, I
no,
think she
Wolf
was
2 is
like
a time
she
snatcher.
was like off middle, but to the left, and she was transitioning into the middle. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh man, here we go." It's like the one of the worst starts you could try to get. It's like, "Oh, look, there she is." No. And I guess Strife, if you had anything to add before we also close things out, and same for Bruschetta.
Yeah. Oh, go on, Strife, if you want to go first, mate.
Oh, well, I thought that maybe you might have ended up missing the PAL card at first because I think you were slightly too high to get position one. So I think
Yeah,
like Yeah, so I was like, you were quite lucky that it was in position 6. Otherwise, yeah. Well, mind you, though, I don't think you would have lost that much time in the end. But it was interesting to see that. I was like, whoa, was that too high?
Yeah, yeah. Um, Gotta learn the lines. Gotta learn the lines. Got nothing else for it. But yeah, thanks to MGSR for setting up this league. It's been so fun. Honestly, I've loved every second, and a big thank you to Plywood as well for like making the guides, helping everybody. He's been like a pillar of the community, and honestly, I wish him the best of luck in the rest of the league. He's just a cool dude. He's helped me, and I think every other runner. Best of luck, best of skill, man. But yeah, thanks everybody, and thanks to anyone in Europe that stayed up and watched this because I know it's fucking late right now. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's me. Best luck to all the runners actually in the semis and the finals.
Cheers, Bruschetta. I'm really excited for whatever you do next. I don't know if you're gonna stick with this game or do something else, but it's been chill.
I've got some unfinished business with this game, but yeah, definitely, man.
Nice.
I'll watch your next race with eager eyes. All right, cheers, guys.
All right, and of course, reflecting Bruschetta's comment, thank you to all of our viewers from, the EU. I know it's incredibly late, but we appreciate it all the same. So, I guess with that in mind, thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for the semifinals, which I'm not sure if there's a date and time set for that, but it's definitely something to look forward to. And of course, thanks for having me once again. And actually, I just got word in backstage that it is going to be next Saturday, but the time is still to be determined. So definitely look forward to that. And of course, once again, thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. And guess if it's morning already, get some sleep. And of course, follow at Apache Spash. Oh my God.